Yeah, I want to tell everybody, the whole world, this is the first reggae tune that was done in Jamaica. See?
Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. Reggae is, in my humble opinion, the greatest genre of music on the planet. It's also one of the youngest, and is popularly believed to have been invented at the end of the 1960s, and specifically the year 1968. It's technically the grandchild of ska, that frenetic drum and horns driven sound that exploded out of Jamaica amidst the euphoria of the island's independence in 1962. By 1966, ska had slowed into the more soulful rocksteady, which in turn would slow and morph into the throbbing, infectious drum and bass sound that we know today as reggae less than 2 years later. The reggae sound is today synonymous with legends like Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, or the Burning Spear. But none of them was the actual originator, not even Desmond Dekker, whose song Israelites made history when it hit number 1 in the UK charts. To begin with, the term reggae was derived from the slang streggae, which was a popular description for the feisty young people that thronged the dance floors at sound system events in Kingston. The first time the word reggae was heard in a song was on the track Do the Reggae by Toots and the Maytals in 1968. But Toots Hibbert himself, who wrote the song, never claimed to be the originator of the sound, even though he took credit for giving that genre a name. Toots' claim, however, was challenged by popular reggae producer Clancy Eccles, who himself claimed that he inspired Toots and others while freestyling at a sound system with a rhyme that went, "Hey Streggae, come make we reggae." The question of who performed the first reggae song is among the most hotly contested topics in world music history, with many singers, producers and musicologists going back and forth on who reggae's true inventor actually was. A shortage of documentation and official records from those early days of the Jamaican music industry has left a vacuum which has filled this mystery. But in recent times, music critics and historians have been able to narrow down the search and finally answer that million-dollar question. Let's take a look at the story of the first reggae song ever recorded. To begin with, as said earlier, ska was the grandparent of reggae and marked the first era of Jamaican modern music.
Rob says, I am king cause my neck is long. There's no doubt that you...
It was followed by the slower rocksteady, which was created in 1966 and would mark the second era. Until 1968, when the sound began to change, courtesy of some daring producers, instrumentalists, and singers who unleashed a slew of songs that formed the bedrock of the reggae sound as we know it, and ushered in the third era of Jamaican music. The most popular of these and loudest contender for the first reggae song ever recorded was the track Bangarang, performed by singer Stranger Cole and produced by legendary producer Bonnie Lee. As the story goes, Cole was walking past Arthur Duke Reid's legendary Treasure House Studios, and Bonnie Lee, who was recording an instrumental track with Scatterlight's saxophonist Lester Sterling, saw him from the window and called out to him to ask if he was interested in adding a few vocals to the rhythm. Cole obliged and came up with the lyrics, "Muma no wants no Bangarang." Upon release, the song became an instant hit and would hit number 1 on Jamaica's charts. It was simply a spectacular and fresh sound, and it sounded like a combination of a slower ska, rocksteady, and mento that featured a very dominant drum and bass or rhythm section. Stranger Cole, and especially Bonnie Lee, up until his passing, argued relentlessly that Bangarang was the first. But to be factual, before Bangarang hit the record stores, a song called Nanny Goat by singer Larry Marshall for producer Coxsone Dodd was already a phenomenon. This song, which also became a hit, featured a super bass line and was the first to use the echo delay effect. Coxsone Dodd had travelled to the UK and had bought some of the latest music studio gadgets, including the delay device, which would be one of the foundations of the contemporary reggae sound and eventually became a pillar of dub, which the likes of King Tubby would unleash a few years later. Music historians have almost unanimously concluded that Nanny Goat came before Bangarang, even though that debate still continues. A third contender for the crown of the first reggae recording was by none other than the great Lee Scratch Perry, with his iconic song People Funny Boy, which was a diss track aimed at his former boss and producer Joe Gibbs. A song which hit the streets in the summer of 1968, I believe a month or so after Bangarang. And while it's certainly a seminal genre-defying classic, it chronologically cannot be the first reggae recording. 1968 was truly the year that sound became a thing, and other songs released in that time frame, like No More Heartaches by the Belltones and Baby Y by the Cables, are also in the conversation, but have over time been adjudged by musicologists and historians as definitely not the first. But amazingly, music critics have overlooked a recording that precedes all of them by as many as 3 years. I can say authoritatively that the first reggae rhythm ever recorded was put together in 1965 with a song named Heavenless. And was an instrumental that was performed by Don Drummond and the Scatterlights, and had been composed by Studio One vocalist and trombone player Vin Gordon, an infectious hypnotic masterpiece that set the pace for every reggae rhythm that's come after it. And I've left a link to it in the description section to this video for your listening pleasure. And what I found most amazing about this track is that this instrumental was recorded during the ska era, and it blows my mind how it must have been such a bold experimental sound. Interestingly, the drum rhythm and bass line, in fact whole beat, was sampled by producer George Pang for singer Half Pint smash hit Greetings in 1984. So dear viewers, I can say with certainty that unless new facts emerge, the first reggae track ever recorded was Heavenless from 1965, and while the second reggae instrumentals, but first to have vocals, was the sublime Nanny Goat in 1968. But as said earlier, the lack of documentation in the early days of Jamaica's music industry means that these debates are not ending anytime soon. But truth be told, the credit shouldn't really be given to any particular artist or producer, as the reggae genre was a product of evolution and the final product of the collective brilliance, hard work and innovations of producers like Bunny Lee, Coxsone Dodd and Duke Reid, plus instrumentalists like Lynn Tate, Vin Gordon and Jackie Mitu. They were the ones that set the stage for the 1970s, a decade that is unarguably the peak period of reggae and was truly the epoch that saw it spread to the four corners of the globe and cement its position as one of the greatest genres of music. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, Jah bless.